And this is the view that you get when you first come into Canvas. There might be announcements there as well, but this is the view that you will have, and students have this view as well. They may not have as many things on there as you as a tutor will, but they will have this view there. And this is the dashboard. You have all your different courses that you're attached to, and you can click on these and go within them. There are alternative views that you can get as well on the dashboard. So I've got this set as card view because I prefer the card view. Some people like to have it as a list, and this shows what you've got due and when on there. So for students, really quite useful because it's telling them what assignments they've got due, how many points they are, and when they're coming through. And then you've also got a recent activity view, so you can see things that have happened recently. What assignment notifications have you got? What announcements have you got coming up? On the side of the screen here, you've got a to-do list. Now, as a tutor, am I very quiet for people, or is it so small? I can make it bigger if we need to. That's fine. Bear with me. Is that better for the size of things? Awesome. Just make sure people can hear me fine. Right, great, that's good. I will zoom in at points as well to show things. This is because I'm showing a broad outline at the moment of what's there. On the side of the screen, just give me a second to turn on my zooming tool. Then I can show you. There we go. So on the side here, we've got a to-do list. So your to-do list for students will tell them you have got these things that you need to complete. For staff, it's telling you if you have things that you need to grade. So down here, this one's telling me I have got this to submit because I'm on that course as a student. Whereas here, this is telling me I've got these that I need to grade because I am the tutor on that course. So it makes life a lot simpler. You can just look very quickly whenever you come into Canvas and see, is there anything in particular that you need to be doing right away? Other things that can come up in here might be that you've got meetings that are coming up. It could be that you've got announcements that have come out that you need to read. They'll come up on the side there. And also, if you've been set up as a moderator, it'll tell you that you need to moderate things as well. So at a click, you can jump to straight where you need to go. On the side here as well, we also have coming up and we have recent feedback. So coming up just looks at the next week. Have you got anything in the particular next week that's coming up for you? And recent feedback, have you had any feedback on assignments recently? So again, not really that great for tutors on that side, but for students, really, really useful. Students and staff also have the ability to click view grades, which then shows every course that you're in and tells you how you're doing on there. And you also get on the courses that you're teaching, what are your student interactions on those courses? Now, obviously, I can't go into that in any depth at the moment because I don't want to breach GDPR, but you're able to click into there and see what are students doing, how are they getting on with those things. So I jump back onto the dashboard. We've also got this sidebar. I apologize for things taking a long time to load. Sidebar here. Up at the top of it, we've got our account. Up there, we've got dashboard, we've got courses, we've got calendar, inbox, history, commons, and help. Now we've added a couple of extra ones here on our instance, which are for our student website and for our student union. Admins are able to do that through the thematic editor. I can click on the help menu. Again, admins can modify this relatively easily. You can't change the panda, that's an instructor thing in there, but you can change all of these different buttons and what they do on there. And it can also tell you what the release notes are for Canvas as well whilst you're on there. So lots of different things there. Under the account, you're able to set up your own notifications. So do you want to be notified? Do you want to get pop-ups? Do you want to get emails through? I've got mine set, so when I go into my notifications, I want to get an email of a weekly summary of these things, or I might want a daily summary of things, and some things I might want to be notified immediately of. So various different things that you can put through on there, and you can also link up your Twitter. You can link up various different things on there. Students can get those notifications, and they do have the control of the notifications as well. This is the same for any user on here. So for within a course that they're in, if they've got a due date coming up, grading policies, course content changes, all things like that can come through. Obviously, as a tutor and as an admin, I have a few extra things on here that other people might not, but they're all very, very similar, and they have control there of what they get and what they don't get. When they click on profile, you're able to come in here and you can edit your profile. You can add a biography. You can add any links on there. So if I go into edit profile, in fact, do I have my phone number on there? I won't go into the edit profile because I might have my phone number on there. But you're able to go in and say what things are allowed to be shared, what things you want people to see, what things you want Canvas to have. It also allows you to set up pronouns. So you can see I've got he, him on there. You're able to pick what pronouns that you have associated with your account. You're able to see any files that you've shared, the settings overall. There's a mobile login that you can set up with a QR code. All sorts of different things that you can see straight from just pressing this account button on the side. And on the accessibility thing, you can turn on the high contrast UI as well if you want to. And then when you reload the page, that's then changed it to high contrast rather than whatever theme you have applied. I'm going to click that off and reload the page again. That'll take it back to the theme that our college has applied. The default colors for Canvas are blue. We have changed them to be red. So if I talk about red buttons or red hyperlinks, that's because that's what my college has got applied. That's whatever color you choose to have applied as a college-wide setting. It can also be set on what's called a sub-account setting. I'm not going to go into that depth today. That's for a later one when we look at the admin side of things. I've talked through the dashboard already. We've got courses. This gives you a list of courses that you have chosen to see on this side. So obviously for students, they'll probably just have their courses on there, whatever courses it is that they're going for. But as tutors, you may be teaching lots of things. You might be attached to lots of things, and you may not want them all to come up. So to sort that out, you can scroll down to the bottom and click all courses. Just zoom in again there, this all courses that we've got at the bottom down here. So I'm going to click on there. That's going to bring us to a much bigger page, and it's telling you every course that you've got. Are you enrolled as a teacher or student? If you're using terms for the courses, it tells you what term you're on there. You can give each course a nickname, so it's easier for you to identify what it is that you're looking for. And it's telling you whether it's published or not down the side. So obviously all of these are yeses, and then you get down to the bottom and grade out on what's not published. And at the bottom, we've also got past enrolments too, for ones that you have been part of, but you're not anymore, you're concluded on them. And you'll see at the side here, we've got a little star. If you have that star highlighted, it's going to show up in your course list. It's going to show up on your dashboard. If you don't have it highlighted, then it's not going to show up on your dashboard. You're still part of it, but if you want to find it, if you want to access it, you either need a direct link to it, or you need to come into this courses, all courses, in order to find it. We have a calendar built into Canvas. Just wait for it to load. It's going very slowly. There we go. So on here, you're able to see calendars for each of the different courses that you're in. It'll tell you if you've got any assignments coming up. You can see it weekly, monthly, or you can set up an agenda view on there so you can see what's coming up for you. You're also able to add events on there. So as a tutor, you're able to set up an assignment or an event directly on here. You can set up your own to-do list, or you can even set up an appointment group. So students are able to book in this set that you set up. So you come in, you give it a name, you give it a location, you select the calendar that you want it to associate with. So what course do you want to associate it with? And then you say, right, I'm going to be free between 10 o'clock and let's say 1 o'clock on the 10th. And I want to divide it into equal slots of 10 minutes. And I want to limit each time slot to 1 user. Do I want students to see who signed up to a time slot beforehand? And do I want to limit how many of those slots that a student can go to? We'll come back to evaluation later on, Elizabeth, on that one. This is just for setting up an appointment group with students, so they can then book in through Canvas to have a time slot with you to work with it. You can also set them up to sign up in groups as well if you want to have group evaluation on there. And that'll then create a thing that your students are able to just go into their Canvas calendar and click, I want a slot with this person at this time. We have a inbox function where you're able to talk between people. For GDPR, I'm not going to click into that one, but it's basically a communication hub, a bit like if you're using Teams to talk back and forward. You've got history, so you can look at what you've been on recently. This is really useful if you've been on a course or you've created something and you can't remember where it was. You can come into your history and find it. If it's not listed in that history, then your admins do have access to be able to go and see everything that you've ever clicked on. So they're able to go back in it, and you could say to your admin, I was working on something at 9 o'clock this morning and I can't find it. Can you find it for me? They're able to go in, look at you as a user and say, right, at 9 o'clock you did this, 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 this. Which one of those is it? In the help, there's various different things. Obviously, we've added a few different things in here, but all of them come with the Canvas guides. If you've paid extra for what's called Tier 1 support, then you've got a 24/7 hotline or web chat that you can use. There's a worldwide Canvas community as well in there, and there's Canvas issue reporting as well. So the Canvas guides takes you to the Canvas website where there's various guides depending on what level you are. So you've got admin guides, instructor guides, student guides. You can type in a question of what it is that you're looking for, or you can click through and you can click into the instructor guide like that. And they've got everything to do with Canvas on there that instructors might see. And then it's broken down into questions for you of what it is that you might want to be looking at to do with that thing. So they've got quite a lot of things covered here. If I go into assignments and I'll go into how do I publish or unpublish an assignment, it's got pictures as you go through telling you what you do step by step to help you out with whatever it is that you're trying to do. If that's not what you're looking for, again, type in the community search and you can search for it. And it also gives you the ability to ask a question as well that people in the community will answer. So if you are stuck on something in particular and you've not been able to find a supporting guides, or your Canvas admin's not been able to help you with it, you could come to the community, ask a question, and someone on there will be able to support you with it, usually. There's sometimes things that can't be helped, but a lot of things will be able to be helped with on there. We've also got the Canvas Commons. Those of you who have been in teaching long enough will remember what TES used to be like back when it was free, where resources could be shared amongst people. That's the same sort of concept on this one. So just wait for it to load up for us. There we go. We can have a look worldwide at various different things. I've got a default filter that comes in, that's for Blackpool and the Fylde College, but we can look at courses, modules, assignments, quizzes, discussions, images, all sorts of things that are shared worldwide, and you're able to bring it in. One particular thing that's really useful, if I can find it on here, if I just search this, right now it's only searching within my admin area at the moment, within the Blackpool and the Fylde area at the moment. If you have it set to search worldwide, there's lots of Canvas resources on there to help you get started that you can start pulling in. So if I look at the imported side of things, this Growing with Canvas one is incredibly useful. It's built by Instructure themselves, and it talks you through building a Canvas course step by step. There's various HTML-based things in there as well that you can pull through to help you actually start using HTML in your courses, make your pages look that bit better. So advanced pages with copy and paste HTML, that's the one that I'm thinking of. And it's got some things that you can pull in. So if you want horizontal lines, if you want color codes, if you want background colors, things like that, they're out there. You're able to pull it in quite easily. So that's the straight away when you first come into Canvas, the things that are available to you and things that are available on the sidebar. I've created a blank course for us, so I can jump in and see what a blank course looks like and what we can build from. So I'm going to click into this one. And now within our Canvas setting, whenever you make a new course, it automatically populates with this view. We've set this up as an institution, so it automatically brings things through. Now, I don't want this at the moment, so I'm going to go into my settings and I'm going to clear out everything that's within this course content, so it doesn't automatically put that in. I'm just going to reset it on the side. And this is what it comes through as a completely blank new course. You get this view, and it starts off with you being able to build what are called modules. So Canvas works this is a little bit like a book. Every module is a book, and you're going to put pages, discussions, files, all sorts of things inside that module. So if I click create a new one, and I'm going to call it test, and I'm going to add that module. Now on here, I can start adding anything I want to do with the module test underneath it. So I'm going to click this little plus here, and I have lots of different options. It automatically goes to assignment, because assignments are, in general, the most important thing that you're going to want to make the most frequently, once you've created the course as you want it to be. We have the option for quizzes, for uploading files, adding pages, adding discussions, text header boxes, which are literally just a text box that comes up in that module view, linking to external URLs, and linking to external tools. So these are things that your admin have set up for you that you then have access to. So you can have things on there like ClickView, like Flipgrid, YouTube, Vimeo, Turnitin, all sorts of different things can be connected on there. Badger, things like that. But what I'm going to start with is showing you how to build a page, because if you can build a page, you can build anything within Canvas. It follows the same simple rules. So I'm going to click on here, add page to test. I'm going to click create page, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it test. I can also decide if I want it to be indented by default as well. In this case, I don't want it to be, but say I had one page, then I had something that followed on from it. Maybe I'd want to have that indented one. And if something followed on from that, I'd want to have it indented too. Modules are inside a course, Beth, on this one. So you create as many modules within the course as you want to. And then those modules contain things. I'll show you that once I've got this page set up. I'll then go and show you our course template and show you how we've got that laid out as our default. So I'm going to click in. I've created this one that's called test now. So test is living underneath this module. We've got some buttons up the top here that I'll just show very quickly before I move on. We can see that we've got little stop signs at the moment. These stop signs mean that these things are not visible to students at the moment. They're just visible to you as a tutor. So as you're building it, you want to have the stop signs there. When you're ready for students to see it, you want to have them be little green ticks. So if I click on those, you'll see they become green ticks. And that means that these things are now visible to students when they come into the course. You've also got a a three-dot menu, or a hamburger menu as people call it, and these give you all sorts of different tools of what you can do with your things. You can edit what this bar says, what this module says. You can move the contents around. You can move the module within the list of modules. You can delete it, duplicate it. Send to and copy to are really useful. If you've created something and you think, oh, what I've created here, it'll be really useful for another course I'm working on, or for another tutor who I work with, you can send it just in full across to somebody else. So say you've created a module on health and safety, and you know, well, health and safety, that's going to be needed on this course, and that one, and that one, and that one, or it's going to be really useful for this tutor. I'm just going to send it to them. I'm just going to copy it to, and that'll take that module, pick it up, and put an exact duplicate in another course. So it saves you a load of time with it. We've also got here the share to commons. That one's taking it a step further, and that's saying, this is really useful. I think this will be useful across my entire college, but I'm not sure what course particularly yet. I'll shove it on the commons, and people can go onto commons and download it as they want. You could even say, I think this is going to be good worldwide, and say, right, I'm going to share this module worldwide, and anybody who has Canvas across the world can jump into Commons and download it from there and use it within their course. So some various tools on there for it. And you've got a similar set of things for things within a module. You've just got the added thing of indent, so you can indent it and make it move in or make it move back as you want to. And we've got remove instead of delete, because once you've created something in here, if you want to actually delete something from the course, you have to jump to the bit on the side that's to do with it. So this is a page. I know it's a page because when I look at it, it's got this symbol at the side. That means page. So if I click onto pages on the side and I view all the pages, it's going to be in here as test. So again, these things are pre-populating for us at the moment because of the way that we've got our Canvas set up. But there's our test one there. Jump back again to the modules view and into our test page that we've got here. So I've created a page. It's a completely blank thing. At the moment, all it's got is the title for it on there. So I'm going to want to click edit at the side. And this is going to bring up the rich content editor for me. I can start typing in here whatever I want, and that's going to start populating it, a bit like if you were using Word or Publisher or something like that, or PowerPoint. It's putting it in there for you. Text, if I write that in. Oh, caps lock is switched on, that's always good. Now, I have the very, very simplified options on here because they're trying to make it as accessible as possible to students. So font size, we've got 8 to 36 points that we can pick. The default comes through as 12. So you're limited in what size you do by default there, but you don't really need anything that's bigger or smaller than these at any point when you're doing things. We have the option of what sort of heading we want to use. Do you want it to be heading 2, 3, or 4? Do you want a bit of pre-formatted things if we wanted to put some HTML script in there? Or do we want it to be paragraph? So the heading tool is really, really important for accessibility. If somebody's using a screen reader, they're wanting to be able to jump between headings. Now, I could write text out, and I could highlight it, and I could make it to font size 24, so it looks the same there. And as somebody who is capable of visually parsing text, I can see, oh, these must be headings because they're bigger than this bit here. So that's definitely a heading. However, to somebody who is visually impaired and is having to use a screen reader for it, they're not going to be able to tell the difference between these two pieces of text at all. It needs to have the heading tag on it for them to see it. And they'll want to have heading 2, and then if something's associated to heading 2, then it'll be heading 3. If something's associated to that heading 3, then it'll be heading 4. If it's not associated at all to it, then it goes back to heading 2 again. Because you want to have that hierarchy going through your text. And you should be doing this if you're using Word, if you're using Canvas, if you're using anything. You want to make sure that you've got that hierarchy of headings going through, showing that things are linked together or not. And Canvas has made it very simple and very easy for you to do that as you're doing that. Now, obviously, that ties into if people are using Blackboard instead of using Canvas. If they're using anything at all, you need to be thinking of accessibility when you go through it. You have the same sort of tools that you'd expect in any text editor. We've got the ability to make things bold, italics, underline. We can change the colours, and it's got some basic colours there. If you're not happy with those ones, there's a little pad there, and you can click on it, and you can select any colour you want. You can use hexadecimal codes to find them there. If you've not used those before, if I go into Google and say I want to have gold text because I'm extra, I can search for gold hex code, and it tells me to use gold. It's FD700. However, I want metallic gold, so I'm going to click on there, and that's telling me it's D4AF37. So if I come in here, and in this bit here, I see D4AF37. There's my metallic gold. I'm going to save that, and then what I type with after that is gold, which isn't showing up very well for you guys, but if I highlight behind it so you can see that a bit better, there we go, black and gold. That's lovely colours there for people to use. So you've got those options there of what you can use for it. Set that back to black, set that back to white. There we go. So we've got highlighters, we've got our superscript and subscript tools as well. And then we come to our hyperlinks. So we've got various different sorts of links that we can put into a Canvas course. First of all, we've got the chain, the normal hyperlink link. So if I want to put a link in, I can just click insert link. I can start writing in the text. So let's go for BBC News on this one. And we'll put the link to bbc.co.uk/news. Done. And that's going to bring our hyperlink in for us there. Now I'm going to keep the font size large so then you can see it without me needing to zoom in. So that's now a hyperlink there. Students are going to be able to click on that and go to where they need to. As a person editing this document, we can click link options, and that brings a bar up at the side where you can change the text and you can change the link very quickly, very easily as you need to. The other tool that you have on here that's really useful is if you click the little drop down arrow that's next to that, as well as external links, we have course links as well. If I click that, now I've got a big list on the side of the things within the course that I might want to link to. So do I want to link to another page? Do I want to link directly to an assignment or to a quiz? Oop, that went funny, didn't it? Do I want to link to some announcements or discussions? Do I want to link to modules or to course navigation that already exists? I can do that within this. So if I click on pages, it's then giving me a list of all the pages that we've already got made on this one. And I can click and I'll click module specification and it'll ping module specification in for me. And when I click on the link options, it's linking within this course to that page for me. So it's making life a lot easier when you're building navigation between things. That course link also has the ability for you to search. So if you know what it is that you're looking for and you want to go to module 1, there you go. It's picked up everything that's got module written in it. So I can then pick the thing that I want and ping it in like that. So it makes it very, very easy to add those links to things that you've already got on your course. The next thing that we've got along is images. So we can upload an image and you can click on there and you can upload any image that you want into there. It gives you the alt text box right from the beginning. So you should always put in a description of what the image is showing. That's the same for charts as well. If you're using any charts, bar charts, pie charts, things like that, the alt text should explain what is being shown on there. Again, assume that you are somebody who isn't able of using visual tools and you're having to have it read out to you. This is the bit that will get read out to you. So it's really important. If that image is just there because it looks pretty, if it's just there for decoration, you can tick the decorative image. You can also choose, do you want it to be an embedded image? So do you want the image to show up on the course? Or do you just want it to be a link that will send you to that image? Most of the time you probably want it to be embedded, but you've got that option there. They also have access to Unsplash directly within Canvas. I believe it does link. At least it has done every time that I've used it. I've not come across ones that haven't, but obviously if you're using a very low quality image, it's not going to optimize very well. It'll still be very pixelated. High quality ones, it tends to compress it down and make it fit better for you, which I'll show you with this Unsplash in a second. So Unsplash is a free, a royalty-free picture repository. So if I search for Canvas on there, I should get some nice photographs of canvases on easels. So I'm going to let's choose that one there and click submit. And it's going to ping that picture in full size for me right from the get-go on there. Now that's quite big. It's not great for us. So I'm going to click on there and I'm going to click image options. And we can see we've got a few different things on here. So the alt text is already filled in for us because it's come from Unsplash, but we can change that if we need to. And then we've got our size here. So at the moment it's on custom and it's done by pixels, 1080 by 1440. I can do it percentage as well. So what percentage size do I want it to be of what it originally was? They also have some default things in here as well. So I can click small and it'll automatically make it considerably smaller for me. And you'll have seen when that changed then, the image flashed yellow. Whenever you make a change, the thing flashes yellow if it's worked. If it hasn't worked, it won't flash yellow and it won't change for you. So if I click medium, it gets flashed yellow and it's changed. So I'm going to go back to being small again on that one, like that. And then I can click on the image as well, and I can make this a hyperlink by using that hyperlink tool before. So I can either make it an external link, or I can do course links and I can make it link to something else within my course. And now you can see I've got image options and link options side by side there now. So I can start making it work as a hyperlink or work as an image for me. This is getting a bit funny there. The other thing that we've got on the side here, there is a thing that says course images and user images. Course images, that will pick images that are already in the course. So if you've got something there, you can bring it in again. And we've got user images. That brings in things that you have got uploaded on. Now, this can be funny because it should work for people, but sometimes the access rights means that those images won't show up for students. So try to avoid using the user files if you can. We've got media, so we can upload or record media. So you've got an upload thing, and we've got a record as well. So if I set my webcam as the Microsoft Camera front, it should pick me up. There we go. And it's picking up the microphone as well. So I can record a video or record audio directly into Canvas using this tool and have it show up on there. So if I just record a little bit, gives you a 3-second countdown, and you can just start saying what you want to do. If you make a mistake, you can click start over and you click finish, and then you can give it a title. I'm going to call it test and save media, and it's going to ping it straight in there for me. It takes a little bit of time to process, but it's putting that directly in there. This is great for when you're doing assignments because you can actually record media feedback into assignments, and I'll cover that in a later session with you, but that's the basics of it for you there. And you can click on it and you get your video options on the side, various different things that you can do. You can bring in closed captions as well, but you have to bring those in with you. And again, you've got your different sizes. Do you want it to be medium, large, extra large, or a custom size on the screen for them? The last one here is files, and we can upload documents, and you can upload any document that you want into there. So if let's have a look. We want an actual document going in there. Have we got one that I can just ping in easily? Probably not. There we go. A pub menu. Let's put a pub menu in it. Click submit. Now that's going to show up as a text thing for us there. One thing that I recommend doing with these is rename it so it's something that's a bit easier to understand. So pub menu. And I also recommend putting in the size of the file as well whenever you're doing this. So if I just find out what size that file was, that's if I can find it again. There we go. So looking at this, it's 1,770 kilobytes. So I'd put that in there. That's just so if students click on this, they know how big the file is when they're going to download it. So if they've got data requirements or things like that, they know how big that is for them. You can also set a preview on it as well. So if you are using this for assignment briefs, for instance, you'll probably want to have it as preview inline, and you want to expand it by default. So you want it to automatically open up for students when they view it. Now, we can't see that just now because we're still in edit mode. But when I go into student view in a little bit, you'll be able to see that it's actually automatically expands that out for them. We've then got various plugins on the side as well. So I can directly plug in YouTube, I can directly plug in ClickView, and anything else that we've got automatically set up by our admins for us there, we can pull in. So if I was to go to YouTube on there, and then if I search for something that I know I'm in, that is it all one word? Shouldn't we? There we go. I can embed directly in, and I can decide, do I want it to be a link or do I want to embed a small version of it in? And there we go. It's automatically got that video directly in there now as well, directly from YouTube for us. Just making life that little bit easier, for students and not having to go anywhere else with it. We then come to alignment tools. So we've got left, center, or right align. They're the only options that you've got unless you're going to go into HTML. So if you want to have pictures placed in specific places, you're going to have to use HTML for that one. They've tried to make it as easy as possible and as simple as possible for people to move things around. I'll show you the HTML editor in a second, but it does get more complicated when you go down that route. We've got bulleted and numbered lists that you can use for things, for building lists out. Whenever you put a list in, always please do use a bullet point list or a numbered list. Don't just start writing in and putting thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, because again, for those who are visual, we can see that that's been bulleted, but for those who have visual impairments or visual processing issues, they can't tell that that's a numbered list or a bulleted list. So you have to just use your bullet points for it, just on the accessibility front. I'm going to try and leave that out just to show you a thing about it later on as we get to it. And we've got indentations as well. You have the ability to remove formatting. We can put tables in as well. Tables and web browsing are always a weird thing to have combined together. Screen readers are getting better at reading tables, but try and leave it as a last resort if you're going to put a table in there, and keep it as short and as sweet as possible. You want to make sure it's as accessible as possible to as many people as you can. But you can see you can put a table in, and there's various options for cell properties, merging cells, splitting them, inserting rows, cutting and copying rows, and where do you want to paste them to? Do you want it to be pasted before or after in there? I'll just zoom in a little bit so it's a bit clearer on there. And the same for columns as well on there. So quite a few different table tools there. But again, always be careful when you're putting tables into things because of accessibility reasons. And we have a LaTeX mathematics tool as well. Yeah, it's a difficult one, David, on that one, the merging and splitting cells. They've tried to find the balance between making tables do what people want tables to do and the accessibility as well. It will flag up that when you've used it, it's an accessibility issue, and that's, it's something that you shouldn't really do, but people will just do it in Excel or will end up putting a screenshot across instead of what they want, which is even less accessible. So it's a toss up between functionality and accessibility. We've got our LaTeX creator here for maths, which is always funny, particularly if you're talking to somebody who doesn't know that LaTeX is a mathematical equation writing tool, and just say, yes, you can write in LaTeX, and people have got this idea of rubber gloves and things like that. But you're able to come in, and there's various different things that you can bring in for your mathematical equations as you need to in there. And then the final thing that we've got is embed. And with this, you can embed any iframes that you want, and it'll ping it in and make it work for within reason, make it work within Canvas for you. There are certain iframes that don't work. Also, if you are using iframes for this, and if you're not sure what an iframe is, if I just pop over to YouTube and just pick any video. There you go. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon recently, so obviously it's picked up Pokemon for me. If I click share and embed, this here is an iframe, because iframe width and all of that there for us, that bit there. They will not work natively in Apple devices anymore. If a website has an iframe in it, Apple will force you to go to that website to view it now. It won't open in there. And that's because iframe is quite an old technology now, and there are potential vulnerabilities with it. For any other device, it'll work all right. But just so you're aware of that being an issue. That'll be the same across any thing as well. It's not just Canvas, it's anywhere. If you can, use the LTI version of it instead. That'll make sure that it does come up and that it does work on there. Once you've created your page, at the bottom here, we've got a little man in a circle, and it's telling you at the moment that I have got one accessibility issue on here. So I'm going to click on there, and it's telling me here that I've got a problem. The text smaller than 18 point or bold should display a minimum contrast ratio of 4.5 to 1. So it's going to let me go through, and I'll change it to black, and I'll change the background as well to white, and that should fix that one for us. So if I click apply on there and close it, because I fixed it in two different ways, it's not really liking it very much on that one for us. I've managed to crash it. That's always fun. Yeah, if I just pop back out of that page and back into it, it'll fix it. Am I still coming through to everybody, or have I lost internet entirely? There's a question. Yeah, still coming through. Great. So I'm going to have to reload it now, which is a shame because that'll have lost what we did. However, Canvas has a tool built into it that means it saves what you've worked on within your browser's cookies. So if something like that does happen and something does crash, it auto saves it for you. So I'm going to recover that, and I'm now going to press save at the bottom. And there we go. This is what it's going to look like to students. And here's that menu that we had before with the automatic file preview. It's automatically come up on there for us. I can minimize it or maximize it as I need to, like that. And if I want to download it, I've got a little download icon to the side there. A few other options that we've got at the bottom here. You've got the options of who you want to allow to edit the page. So by default, it's on only teachers, which is what you want to have it on. You don't really want to have students being able to go in and edit pages for you, unless you've specifically said, right, I want us to collaboratively work on this page together. Do you want to add it to your students' to-do lists and it pops up as something on that screen when they first come in there? And do you want to allow it in mastery paths, which is something I'll deal with in another thing. But basically, you can say, based on how somebody's done on an assignment and what score they've got, do you want pages to unlock for them? You can also notify users that this content has changed or not on there. So if you've changed something and it's on an important page, say you have a timetable and you've had to make a timetable change, you might want to notify users. And that'll then go through that notification process and it'll ping through to their emails or ping through to their phones or whatever they've set up to allow them to know that something's changed. You do also have some extra tools down here as well. This is our HTML editor. So actually you can come in and change it in HTML, which gives us a lot more tools there for us if we want to do that. You don't have to do that, but it's there if you want to. So that's building a page. And if you can build that, then you can build anything in any side of Canvas that you want to, because everything works the same. So in this particular course, and in the way that we've laid it out, instead of using pages, we tend to use discussions instead. So if I jump into this discussion that we've got set up here, you can see I've made use of HTML in this to bring in some pop-up boxes, to bring in some anchor points. So we've got hyperlinks that point us throughout this page. I've set this up as a discussion, so you've got it that you've got all of your content on here, and students can then discuss what it is that they've learned in that lesson. When I go into the edit side of it, I can now also say, I don't want this to be visible to certain people. So at the end down here, I can decide who I'm posting it to. So I've got it posting to all sections here. Now, I don't have anybody else on this course, so I can't show you this very well, but I'd be able to type in specific student names and say, I only want it to show up to those specific students. I don't want it to show up to anybody else. Or I only want it to show up to this specific group. I don't want to show it to anybody else. And you can see on here, this is exactly the same as the page was. All the same tools that you had there, all the same things there going for us as they go through and fill this in with things. With it being a discussion group, we have some extra options at the bottom, but you go through and you set up those, you decide what sort of things you want to have on there. It's the same again when we go to assignments. So if I jump into an assignment and into the edit, in the information box for the students, it's exactly the same tool as you've got for the pages. So once you can create a page, you can create anything on there. And it then just has extra options, which we will go through in a later thing as to what these different options do. But to just show you how things can be different within Canvas, on the modules view for this one, here's all of these modules that automatically populate for us. So we've got everything to do for one module, for one topic or one set of things. I've got here in the 16 lesson layout for them. We've got some assessments set up for them. We've got some course guidance set up for them in there. When you're on the home view, you can actually choose what your home page is, and you can decide, do you want it to be the modules? Do you want it to be the assignments? Do you want it to be the course activity stream, the syllabus? Or do you want to pick a front page from the pages that you've made? So in this particular case, we've got it as a front page from the pages list that we've got. And on here, there's all sorts of things that people can click to get to information that they might need. And then I've set it up that we've got a link to a page that has links to all sorts of other pages on there, and they can click on and jump to wherever it is that they want to be going straight from that. So you can have navigation set up how you want, but you have to go in and set that navigation up. Canvas is quite literally a blank canvas for you to work with. You can also have navigation down the side here as well that you can control through settings. And then there's a navigation option here, and you can decide what things do you want to be visible to students, what things don't you want to be visible to students. and decide what it is that you want to see. And you can see there we've got SCORM packages are available as well. You can set up SCORM packages to work. Do you want them to be able to jump directly to discussions? Do you want them to jump directly to assignments? You've got various different options there for things that you can bring in. So that is the very basics of Canvas in a nutshell in about 55 minutes. Are there any questions that people have? Anything that they want me to show them at this point? Oh, what does it look like for a student? Sorry, let me publish this one, then we can show you what it looks like. Just go through and publish these things. Just thinking about it. And click student view. This is something that we've got quite useful, is the student view for using courses. So it looks very, very similar. Obviously, it's only got those things that you have published there on that. So on the side here, you see it's very limited to the things that I've said that they can see. They can have that module view if they want to go in and jump around and look at things. So this layout, this is basically your course navigation, your sitemap of what your course is built into this bit. If we go onto the home page and I click onto that module 1 landing page option there, I've got it there. And also at the bottom of everything, I've got a next and previous button. So I can click next and that will move into what is next in the module view. So in this case, it's a page called module 1 spec and outcomes that has nothing on it. You can click next again, that then takes them to the lesson 1 for that. And they can keep pressing next and that will move them through everything that is there published for them on that course. So you can have navigation set up to be fancy using hyperlinks like this, or you could just give them the modules view and say, right, here are all your modules, go and pick the lesson that you want to go and look at. Within our college, what we've got it set up as is for FE, all of their content for a year will be in one Canvas course. Whereas for HE, we've got a Canvas course set up that's a landing page for that HE course. And then they have different modules come up and their module courses become available at different times for them. Have we got any other questions? Yep, yes-ish, they can. You can't change the term module, unfortunately, which I know for the UK can be an issue because we use module quite a lot, but that is what it's called in Canvas. So we've started making a distinction between modules, as in your course module, and Canvas modules. So we just refer to this one as Canvas modules or red modules to try and get that confusion out of the way. But you can add lots of things to here as well if you need to. So the basic ones you've got are modules, home, announcements, all that sort of thing. We've added some of our own ones. We've got LinkedIn Learning, we've got Adobe Creative Cloud, badging, things like that can go on the side as well.